Hi, welcome back. In the last lecture, we learned how to declare variables and assign values. In this fairly short lecture, I'm going to show you how to combine that into one statement. So the way we do that is very simple. We declare the variable and we assign it a value. If you have multiple variables, you can use a comma to separate them. Works for strings. Works for characters. I didn't talk about characters in the last video, so we'll do one there. And it works for bools. You're going to use this technique whenever you know in advance or when you start writing your program what the initial value of a variable is going to be. And in fact, a lot of times this is called an initialization statement. And it's very important in C++. Since I've really covered everything I want to cover, let's talk a little bit about the importance of initializing. It's very important in C++ that you initialize variables before you use them. And the reason for that is because C++, unlike other programming languages that will assign a default value to a variable when you declare it without giving it a value, C++ won't do that. Instead, it will just go to the memory location where you created the variable and pull whatever data is in that location into the program. And you may think, that's crazy, I didn't tell it to do anything. I didn't tell it any data to put there. But the compiler still puts something there. There's numbers there. And when we get to our chapter on arithmetic, I'll show you some examples of that because it happens all the time for beginning students. They'll forget to initialize a variable and then try to use it in arithmetic or in an arithmetic expression. And the value would be something just, off the charts. 4,555,372,222 or something like that. So it's very important that, and I'll write the rule out here in a comment, that variables must be initialized before first use. And by use, I mean when you use the variable to do something. So let's say that we have our salary variable and we want to multiply that by 2 to double it. Okay, having problems there. Okay, so I can do this because salary has an initial value of 20,000. So in this assignment, we're going to take 20,000, multiply it by 2 to get 40,000, and then assign that to the variable. And if I hadn't have initialized salary before, it would have just gone out and picked whatever's in the memory location for that variable. It would just take it and put it in there. And again, it would be some sort of crazy number. I said 4 billion before. Usually it's in the millions. But that's compiler dependent, and it doesn't matter anyway because it's wrong and it's bad logic and bad programming. So again, the rule is variables must be initialized before first use. And just to kind of summarize here, in this video I've shown you how to declare and assign a value or initialize a variable in the same statement. I've shown you how to do it for one variable, and I've shown you how to do it for two. And I've essentially shown you how to do it for all the main data types that we're going to be looking at. So that wraps up this video on variable declaration and assignment, and that wraps up this chapter on data types and variables.